Welcome to the Full Armor of Game, Episode 9, The Different Levels of Disrespect. I'm your host, Czar Danya, alongside the Texing Prince, two of the best in the game right now, teaching you men everything you need to know about women. Today we have a special episode, Different Ways Women Disrespect You, the Different Levels of Disrespect.
You bring the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. This is Sparta! Sparta! Put on the whole armor of game. This is where we fight! And these shield boys!
Now, put a price on your respect, fellas. My price is my fucking life, and I will die for my respect. That's how important it is. Alphas don't look for love. We look for respect from women because we all know if she can't respect you, she ultimately can't love you. It goes hand in hand. A woman has to look up to you in order to love you, fellas. You never want to be in the position of where your woman no longer respects you. I've met plenty of women who loved their man and yet still cheated on him. But they never cheated on the man they had reverence for, they had respect for. Understand before we start this podcast, this is human nature, this is psychology. Behaviors either get progressively worse or they get better. Behaviors never usually remain stagnant. Behaviors are primarily dynamic. They're always changing. So when a woman blatantly disrespects you, she either wants you to put her in her place or to walk away from the relationship entirely. This goes back to the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett effect. We all know what's going on with the relationship. She wants Will to grab his nuts and walk away so badly. She will do anything to keep disrespecting him, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. What did I tell you? Behaviors either get better or they get worse. If Will is not going to walk away, she is going to find more ways to disrespect them as a man. So you never argue with a woman because arguing with a woman is like blowing air into a balloon that has a hole in it. You need to put her on the bench by never allowing disrespect to slide. One of the most important rules when handling disrespect is you never wait later to check her on the disrespect. You have to check women right then and there. Don't be the guy that waits a week, a day, or an hour and then text her and let her know, or, hey, listen, we have to talk about how you disrespected me last week. She doesn't fucking care, fellas. Women live in the present moment. That's it. The second she disrespects you, you stop everything you're doing and you have to call her out on that. Because if you wait, she already has moved on and forgotten about it. You check her immediately in the moment the disrespect happens. If you start becoming weak or you begin losing your confidence and assertiveness as a man, guess what? She will automatically test you by disrespecting you. She wants to feel your assertiveness and strength in that present moment, fellas. Check her and never let the disrespect slide. Everyone in your life is testing you. They test you to see what else they can get away with. How weak or how strong of a man are you? If you are weak, then they know they can get away with even more cantankerous behaviors.
And actually, when you mentioned the Will and Jada thing, I just saw a video that came out because apparently she released like a book, and the whole it was like somewhere in like back in 2016 or something where Will and Jada decided they were separate. They weren't actually married anymore. They were just continuing the marriage just for basically the public image and maybe for the children, I guess.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
But she even mentioned that she was shocked at the whole slap when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, because she was like, why is he calling me his wife? He knew for years that we didn't call each other that. Like, she already saw it. They were completely separate, but he's still hanging on emotionally. And you saw how emotional he got with that whole thing. And that is the type of thing that will happen if you allow that disrespect to continue on. And then she wants nothing to do with him or the relationship. She didn't even have his back during that whole situation, but he was still holding on to something that was gone over 6 years or 5 or 6 years before that.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
And something to understand about women is that women are boundary testers. If you give a woman an inch, she'll take a mile. She will continuously push and push and push until she feels strength, until she feels authority. It's kind of like in the sense of like children, like when I was a classroom teacher, they will keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they know they can't get away with something. So that's why if a substitute teacher came in for the day or something, they're going to always push that sub where they know that they weren't going to get away with things like that with me. But that is women in that aspect, like in relationships, they're going to constantly push the boundaries. And if you if you let it go, you just say, oh, well, it was just one time, right? She'll continually push that line until it gets to a Will and Jada Smith type moment, because they're secretly wanting some rules put on, some authority, some strength that they can feel in their life.
Yeah, and it goes back. We talked about this in another podcast, Prince, where you can't act, and the guys do this on vacation. They act like they're a hard ass or they're that alpha, like Will pulled during the Oscars, right? But when they go back home, their women knows like they're not this person. It's just all an act. It doesn't work that way, fellas. You can't just be an alpha for 5 minutes when you're somewhere else with your girl, and then when you're back home, you're this vagina of a man. You're not being congruent with who you are. That's very unattractive. And a lot of people get upset when we always bring up how women are like children. I'll even push that further. They have a childlike spirit. Why do I say that? This is proof right here. All women love magic. They're like children. So that's your proof right there. If you know how to be a magician in front of women, you can show them tricks. They'll be obsessed with you. Okay, they're entertained. They have a childlike spirit. So like children, they want to see what they can get away with. But if you check them, the behavior's not going to get worse. Okay, it might flare up later on, but you put them in their place. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think kind of like you mentioned earlier, how you got to do it when it happens is where a lot of guys will get into trouble, is because they might hear something like this and then they were being a total pushover in their relationship up until this point, and then they hear something like this and like, well, I need to start checking her. But by that time, if she doesn't have that respect for you, she'll basically laugh at you trying to put rules on her, because she'll be like, yeah, right. There's no, like, I see this all the time with women. She's like, oh yeah, this guy tries to, make a demand on me or something like that. But she already knows that he wants her more than she wants him. So then she just gets rebellious, and then she hears that and she's like, oh yeah, prove it. And then she'll continuously push against that. That's why we're trying to teach you guys this stuff now, so that as you're growing that relationship or that interaction with women from the start, you're able to do things the correct way. Because the moment she loses respect for you, it's so dang hard to earn that respect back from a woman.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to start with the first one. A woman showing up to your job, house, party, whatever location you're at, unannounced, fellas. This is highly disrespectful. She's essentially trying to domineer over you. She is establishing the dominance over you and your territory. So I've had this happen to me when I wasn't answering the phone with certain women. They kept blowing up my phone multiple times. I didn't answer. So they showed up unannounced to my place. This happened with the toxic ex I was with when I was 25 years old, fellas. I've been through it all. I know the signs. So she walks into my place with my dad sitting on the couch, unannounced. She walks right past them, comes upstairs, opens the bathroom door as I'm in the shower naked. She opens the door and she said, "I'm breaking up with you." And then she walked out. That was so disrespectful, fellas. You never let a woman do that. I never checked her on that. I still ended up being with her. I know it was a dumb move. I wasn't complete at that time. I was still desperate, thirsty. I was going through some emotional issues where I didn't have an abundance mindset. So, guess what happened next since I didn't check her on that behavior of showing up unannounced at my place? She broke into my parents' place while no one was home and she stole money from us. My mom happened to walk in and catch her as she was doing this. She made up some lie and then she walked out. Behaviors get worse, fellas. This is what we're trying to teach you. So a woman has to respect your territory. Some of y'all think that that shit is cute when a girl shows up at your place. Yeah, she's jealous and I got her all emotional. There ain't nothing sweet about that. Because what happens after they show up to your place and you don't check them on it? Now they start breaking in and they start going through your shit. That's the last thing you guys want. And a second toxic ex, she showed up at midnight to my place because I wasn't answering her. I basically wanted nothing to do with her after she disrespected me. I was already out on a date with another girl. Midnight, I hear several knocks on my door as if the SWAT team showed up. I knew instantly it was her because she was calling me multiple times that day. I didn't answer her. She almost made a scene with the neighbors, waking people up. I immediately checked her on that because I learned my lesson from the previous ex. Guess what? She never did that again, fellas. This is very important. Do not let a woman ever establish dominance over you or your territory. You have to break up with them and let them know that shit is not going to slide. So they have to work their way back into your life now. You don't take them back right away after they do that. Learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, another one I have here for disrespectful behavior. And this one starts early. So the maybe date. This is like if you're going to ask a girl out for the first time, or even maybe it's, second or third time, whatever, but you're in the early stages of asking a girl out. And let's just say I, do the when you're free next week, and she gives me, she says Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. And I say, hey, does Thursday at 8 p.m. work? And if she says, maybe, I've went through too many years of trying to make that work. Like, okay, sounds good. And trying to set that date up, only to then be waiting on my phone going, oh, I wonder if she's going to cancel. I wonder if she's going to show up and all that stuff. So now what I do is immediately, if a woman isn't 100% in and confirming that date, I retract the date idea completely. I just say, and I don't get emotional about it. I don't go, well, fine then. I just go, no worries. We can try another time. Or I say, no worries. We can try a different week. Sounds like we're both busy. And I retract it right there. I pull it all the way there, because if you play into that maybe date, that's going to set up those actions later on that she will get comfortable either giving you the maybe answers, maybe confirmation, and then she waits and sees if she has a better thing going on and then bails on you, or she'll just get used to wasting your time. She'll just say, I'll just say maybe to this guy, and then I don't have to worry about it for a while, and then I can cancel on him last minute. That's never a spot you want to be. So early on, if you're setting up a date with a girl and she does not seem excited in confirming that date, if she goes, I'm not sure, I'll have to check, or maybe, I just go, oh, no worries. sounds like you're busy. We can try again another time. And then what I do is I pull back, and now I'm not going to text her again. I'm going to wait until, and I don't care if it takes a week or 2 weeks, I'm going to wait until she basically comes back. And women will do this, is they'll then come back, even if it's a week or two later, and go, hey, we should go on that date again. And then when she brings it up, and then I'll say, when are you free next week? And I'll wait for that confirmation, but I will never play into a maybe date. I've learned from my mistakes in that one. So if she gives you a maybe or not a confirmation, pull it back. No worries. We can try again another week.
Yeah, I'm going to lead into another one with that great example. So say if you're dating a girl, she's your girlfriend, and you guys had plans set up to see each other for a specific date. You had a date plan, and all of a sudden she cancels on you. Okay. Now, if she has a legitimate reason, maybe she got sick, she has the flu, whatever, someone passed away. Okay, cool. But if she does it the second time, now she's wasting your time, fellas. She's disrespecting your time. Alarm should go off in your head. You have to let her know, hey, listen, I don't mind that you canceled last time because you were sick or whatnot, but you're disrespecting my time. Like I set aside time for you, and I'm very busy, but we can't have this happening again. So you have to let them know that, fellas, because the second they start flaking on you, they're getting a little too comfortable. If you let them keep getting away with that, that's a big problem. Because what starts happening now is if she doesn't respect your time, she's going to start showing up late every time now. She's going to be even more flaky. So, the first time is okay. I'll let it slide. I understand things happen. But if she does it a second time, I already know, okay, alarms are going off in my head. I need to say something to her. Because when you put time aside for a girl or for anyone, it's very important. Like I understand, I've done this as well. I realize how important it is that you respect another person's time, because they're saving themselves for you. So whatever they had to do, they put aside just to see you, just to hang out with you. That's not cool, fellas. A lot of guys will let that shit slide, but she's going to keep doing it again and again. And once again, this goes back to one of my exes. I went to go meet up with her. She said, yeah, be at my place at 8:00 p.m. I show up at 8. I'm waiting 20 minutes. It was 8:20. Then it's 8:30. And then she shows up and says, oh, sorry, I got caught up at work. I let it slide. I said, okay, cool, no problem. Guess what happened? She does it again. I'm on my way to go see her, and she lived 30 minutes away. And she said, hey, listen, I still have important errands I have to run, so I'm going to be 30 minutes late. You know what I did? I turned around halfway. I said, nope. I said, not doing this again. I told her, I was like, no, I'm turning around. I'm done. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. She blew up my phone possibly 50 times that night, begging me to go see her. She had ultimatums. If you don't see me now, I'm done with you. I still didn't fall for it. Guess what happened, fellas? She was never fucking late ever again. She was never late. If I let it slide one more time, she would have been even more late, even more late. She didn't respect my time, so you have to check them on that. Okay? Don't tolerate that type of disrespect.
Yeah, do you have another one? I got more, of course, but
Yo, go for it. That was one of them. That was one
of
the
that's
ones
right. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got one here that so if a girl calls you a name that you don't like, and not necessarily a slur, but like, sometimes I'll run into guys that their girlfriend or something calls them a name and they don't actually like it, but they roll with it. So personally, for me, if a girl tries to call me dude or bro, I have no tolerance for that. I think that's gross. So if a girl tries to call me that, like she goes, hey, dude, or something like that, I don't want to be put into her dude category. I don't want to be in her friend category. I don't want to be in her bro category. So I'll just look at her and I'll like give her kind of like a disgusted face. And I'll just say, that's not cute. Don't call me that. And that right there, girls won't typically go any farther than that. If she tries to again to try to get a rise out of me, I will literally ignore her. I will just pretend she could be right next to me. And if she tries to call me that name, I will see through her like she's invisible. I will completely ignore her. until she calls me something that I approve of. So if you're getting called name, especially, and I think this is the grossest thing in the world when girls call their boyfriends bro. I don't think that's cute. Maybe some guys get off on that for some reason, but if she's calling you something that you don't like, a name like that, just simply say, "Hey, that's not cute. I don't like that. Don't call me that." And then if she continues to do it to try to get a rise out of you, just ignore her completely. She's invisible until she starts to respect you and play along with something that you're okay with her calling you.
Yeah, I made a video specifically talking about that on TikTok. And I'm even more ruthless. So not only should a girl never call you bro, BFF, homie,
Yeah, homie's another one. Ugh.
whatever other names, right? It's just it's repulsive, fellas. No girl should ever call you that. Friend, best friend, amigo, whatever language it's in. You have to check her on that. I'm even more ruthless. I tell them, hey, listen, don't ever call me that again. You can either call me king, babe, master, sex god, czar, CEO, whatever, but it has to be uplifting. And if she laughs or she still calls me by that other repulsive beta name, I'm not even responding to her. Like you said, my attention, that's it. She doesn't think I'm being serious. Okay. Now, every time she calls my name, she has to call me one of those names she can pick, or I can pick for her. So not only do I give her options of all those names, I let her know either you can pick or I'll pick for you, whichever one you want. But that's how you guys play it. Don't ever let a girl call you some beta ass name like that. Best friend, biffle, I don't know, homie, bro, whatever. Like, those beta names that girls will call guys. Even if she's not your girlfriend, I don't care. No girl should ever call you that. Hands down. She has to look up to you, fellas. Okay. I'll go even further, right? One of mine that I had written down was if she calls out your name. So she's not calling you bro, bud. She's calling out your name. So she's disrespecting you. She'll call you stupid or a bitch or an idiot. That is highly disrespectful, fellas. You have to check her on that and tell her, hey, listen, don't ever call me that shit ever again, or we're fucking done. You can never let a girl disrespect you by calling out your name. She can only call you uplifting names. And you guys do the same with your girl. Never call her a bitch. Never call her this. No. Find uplifting names you can call her. It works both ways. If you don't check her on that, she will never have respect for you. You can never let a girl call you an idiot, stupid, dumbass, a bitch, whatever other names you guys can think of. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. Check her on that.
Yeah. I got one here. If a girl raises her voice at you, I don't like that at all. I'm pretty mellow. I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected pretty much all the time. But if a girl tries to raise her voice at me, she's getting upset or emotional, or a lot of times it comes up because she wants a relationship and I don't. But if she tries to raise her voice at me, I will say just something like this. I'll say, hey, I respond well when you're sweet and pleasant, not demanding and loud. And I'll say it just like that. And just like the nickname thing, if she tries to do it again, I'll ignore her then, because she now knows my rules. And again, I'm talking to her in the same type of voice. I'm never getting too high or low or whatever either. So I'm not going to raise my voice at her necessarily. Maybe I'll have a stern tone on something like that, like don't call me that. But I'm still the same type of kind of steady voice. But if she tries that on me, I just tell her to once to say, hey, I don't respond to that. I'm much more receptive when you're sweet and kind and pleasant. And then I'll leave it at that. And if she tries it again, I ignore her. If she tries it in text, I don't text her back.
I had that one written down as my next one. She communicates in a hostile tone. So this is my move, fellas. Wait until she's finished. I want you to look her directly in the eyes like a lion looks at a gazelle he's about to hunt down. Squint your eyes, look at her intensely as a masculine man, and in a calm, firm, assertive tone, ask her, Are you done? This hostile display of emotionally charged behavior is specifically designed to make you lose your cool. She wants to see how easily she can move you off center, fellas. You must remain self-possessed. That means no one can move you off center. So then when she has calmed down, I want you guys to follow up with, good to have you back again. I had this one sexy girl I was driving back from a party with who asked me to open my driver's side window, to which I responded with, not without a please, not with that attitude. She began getting hostile towards me. I should have known it was a test, fellas. This was the first date. I didn't check her on that. Guess what happened? I never saw that girl ever again. She never wanted to see me again. She acted out in a hostile tone because she was testing me to see if I was really that dude. And I fucking fell for it. I was flustered. I didn't do what I just told you guys. I should have said, are you done? And looked her right in the eyes as a fucking masculine man. I could have slept with her that night if I played it this way, and I didn't. I caved in. I gave her what she wanted, and I looked like a complete mangina. She knew, okay, I got him now. He's not that alpha he was portraying himself to be. So everything we're telling you now, fellas, this will make the difference between a girl wanting to sleep with you and a girl never wanting to see you ever again. They want to be put in their place. And I got so scared and flustered because I was also high off marijuana that night. I know. I don't advise you guys to smoke. It messed up my game a little bit. I'll admit it. Maybe it was the background substances, but I should have known better. So learn from our mistakes. We're not just making up bullshit, guys. Women will do this to test you and to test your resolve. So we just gave you two different ways of handling this. You can give them positive affirmations like the texting prince told you. Hey, listen, I prefer when you're sweet to me. Or you can tell her, are you done? And then when she calms down, you look at her again and then you say, good to have you back. And they'll always laugh after you say that. They'll give you a slight smile.
Yeah, my next one I have on here is if a girl tries to give you rules. And for instance, so this one might come if I'm setting up a date with a girl and if I want to just meet up with her for a drink or two and then maybe I have something else planned. But if a girl says something like, I only go on dinner dates, or if, well, or this will happen a lot actually when a girl can sense your confidence and you're in, like on a first date and I'm, charming her or whatever. And she says something like, well, I'm not going to come over until at least 3 dates. And again, I don't lose my cool, but I just kind of shake my head at her. I'm like, rule follower. It's like, I don't like rules. And I just say something like that because I don't want her to get in that position where she thinks that she can put rules on me. So again, if I'm texting her and I set up a date for drinks and she says something back like, I only go on dinner dates, I probably won't respond. If I do respond, I would just say something. I would just give her like the thumbs down and just say, I don't like rules. Or I'd just say rules are boring, something like that. But I'm not going to play into that. I'm not going to acquiesce. I'm not going to go, oh, okay, well, then let's go to dinner now. Because again, when you're setting up your relationship or your interactions with her, where you're allowing her to make those rules, then again, you give her an inch, she'll take a mile. She will start to think that she's able to then put rules on you. So I let her know right away. And if I'm in person with her and she's like, I can tell that she's going to go home with me and she tries to like, well, I don't go home with a guy until 3 dates. It might be more playful on my end in that, where I'll kind of look at her and I'll be like, rules are boring. That's no fun. I'll say something like that in more of a playful way, but I don't let a girl get away with basically the last word of her giving me rules and me going, oh, yes, of course. No, I would never. I say something either in a playful way, like I don't like rules. Rules are boring. Rules are meant to be broken. Something like that. Or if it's like when I'm setting up that date with her And if she's trying to start that on me, then again, I just ignore. I don't respond to her until she comes back again a few days later, texts me something like, hey, I want to go grab drinks with you. And she changes her mind on that in that frame. So there's basically two ways to do it. The playful one where you know that she's going to come over, but I still let her know I assert it in either a playful way or in a more stern way. Rules are boring. I don't like rules. Or like, you can put rules on other guys, but I'm not a rule follower. Like, that's the type of thing that I'll say to let her know up front. Don't try that on me.
Yeah, I'm ruthless with it. Once again, I like responding with, do I look like the type that follows rules? So you guys can take it however you want, matching your personality. But I've seen women write this on their dating profiles. Oh, no coffee dates, no drink dates, strictly dinner dates. So if you're going to message me, make sure you take me out to dinner. I've had girls that said, oh, I only do dinner dates the first date when I ask them out for a drink or two. So number one, women love the alphas because they break the rules. They don't follow the rules. They break social norms. So if you let her dictate that first date, where you guys are going to go, what you guys are going to do, she's going to dictate that entire relationship. She's going to take you for a ride where your ATM, the money in your account is going to get lower and lower and lower because they know the second they sleep with you, all that treatment is going to stop. So why would they? Never fall for that, fellas. That's when women have the power. When you give them the power to dictate that first date, when she starts making rules for you. And what does Rollo Tomasi always say? She makes rules for the beta and she breaks the rules for the alpha. So do you think she's going to respect you or want to sleep with you if you follow her rules? No. Women aren't designed to respect the beta males that follow the rules. They're designed to sleep with the alpha men that know how to break the rules and break social norms. So my next one, now this might be a little controversial. Going through your privacy. So that same ex I told you about that came over my parents' place. She came into the shower, into the bathroom as I was taking a shower to break up with me because I didn't answer her. She would go through my phone without my permission as I was taking a shower at her place. She would go through every message. Women are smart, guys. My phone had a passcode on it. It had a lock key on it. She knew what the pattern was because she saw my fingerprint on the screen. So she knew exactly what the pattern was. Women are very fucking smart. You guys still underestimate how cunning they really are. She figured out my password and she began reading all my text messages, right? Once again, this is highly disrespectful. I should have left her right then and there, but once again, I didn't. This was before she broke into my parents' place. Behaviors either get better or they progressively get worse. Hers progressively got worse, fellas, because I wasn't man enough to walk away or to tell her, if you ever fucking go through my phone again, we're done. That's all it takes. That's when they start respecting you and your boundaries. And if she still doesn't respect your boundaries, you have to walk away. You have to be done with it, or else you're going to be another Will Smith. So a woman has to ask you if she can go through your phone. Now, if I'm seriously dating a girl and I'm in a relationship with her, I have no problem giving them my passwords to my phone. Because if anything happens to me, they have access to my phone. I trust them. But the women I date now, they would never go through my phone without my permission. And they know that. So the same ex I told you about, right? After I got back together with her, after she showed up
unannounced. Was this the one that she showed up into your shower? That one?
She showed up, yep, into the shower, unannounced to break up with me. So interesting. I met this beautiful Israeli model at college. I was going to college at that time. I met this beautiful Israeli model. This was just as we were going through this strife, me and my ex. I didn't want to be with her anymore. Met this beautiful girl, and I think a week later, she came over. And she actually slept over after we were playing Monopoly, quote unquote. You guys know what we did. So my mom texted me that morning. This is important. My mom texted me that morning. She said, can you tell Nicola, her name was Nicolina, to move her car out of the driveway because her car was last and it was blocking my parents' cars, right? This is very important. So I'm at my ex's house now. I'm hanging out there. I'm getting some college work done. She went through my phone as I was in the shower before. I didn't know that. She went through my phone. So I go into her room. I'm getting my work done on her computer. She comes into her room and she asked me, Dan, who's Nicola? Who's Nicolina? And I was like, what the fuck? How did she know about that? Because I deleted all her messages. I didn't leave anything behind. The bitch went through my mom's text messages. Like, this is how cunning women are. Who would think to delete their mother's text messages? Because now she saw when my mom asked Nicolina to move her car out of the driveway that morning, which means she slept over, which means I gave her that hot beef injection the night before. That's when it hit me. I said, yo, this girl, like, girls are smart. Girls, this is why men get caught cheating, because we're so stupid. We leave clues behind we never think women are going to look at. But women don't do that. So, but the point is, never let anyone go through your phone without your permission, fellas. It's not cute, has nothing to do with trust issues. I'm sure me and Texting Prince get dozens of messages from women constantly because of the things, the social media, the content we create. Doesn't mean we're sleeping with any of those women. They can easily blow that out of proportion. They don't know the context behind it. And another thing, when you guys go through your girl's phone, you guys want to find something. You guys are looking so hard to find something. And if you don't find something, this is what happens. Automatically, you believe that she deleted everything, which isn't true. And another thing, 99% of you guys that go through your girl's phone, even if you found something, you'll never fucking break up with her. I've seen this over and over again. Guys catch their girl texting, guy, oh, what the hell is this? They never break up with the girl. What the fuck is the point? What is the point? If you're going to go through her phone and you find something, majority of you men are cowards. You still won't leave her. Women know not to disrespect us. We don't have to go through their phone, right, Prince? I'm sure same thing with you. I don't have to go through my girls' phones. I trust them. It's such insecure behavior. We know if a girl's cheating on us. We could tell we're not stupid. We don't have to go through their phone to find proof. So nothing good comes from her going through her phone or you going through her phone, fellas. If you don't trust her that badly, why are you still with her? Why are you still with her? You need to ask yourself that.
Yeah, next one I have is we might have sort of covered this on the red flags one, but if a girl expects you to pay for everything, that to me is very disrespectful. There's, and like I think we mentioned that on one of those, or maybe it was a green flag where we said, like, even if I'm going on a date with a girl and I'm expecting to cover a majority of the bill or something like that, I still want her to do the old purse, the shuffle in the purse, pull out her credit card and all that type of thing. Or at least offer or pretend in a sense. But I have a example of this girl. It was kind of recently. So she's been asking me to take her golfing for a lot of different times. And I finally had an opening in the tea time where I was like, okay, I can take her out with me. So I said, I was like, hey, because she asked, what I'm doing. I said, hey, I'm golfing at blah, blah, blah. You're welcome to come if you want, because she had been asking to go. And she responded with, only if you buy me dinner after. And there's a million different ways she could have done it to where I would have been fine buying her dinner. Like, she came out, went golfing with me. She hung out with me and my buddies. We had a good time. If she would have simply phrased it, hey, I haven't eaten all day. Could we maybe get food after? And even if she didn't say it like, could you buy me food? Because I also don't like being told what to do, period, from anyone. But just those subtle tweaks, I think it's really disrespectful when a girl says something like that, because to me, it's like, hey, I'm letting you in to hang out with me and my buddies, doing my hobby. I love golfing. And she had been wanting to go. And then she throws the only if you buy me dinner after. And she was even trying to be like cute about it, like a wink face or something like that. But that was so stupid on her part. because I wanted nothing to do with her at that point. Cause I'm like, it's just disrespectful to say it. If she literally just phrased it, I haven't eaten all day. Do you think we could maybe grab food after? Or do you have any food at your place we could eat after? Something like that. That would have been fine to me. And I still would have invited her to go golfing. But when she says something like that, I never put up with that because, again, that's that expectation that then she's going to continually expect for me to pay for things. And it's even a subtle slap in the face because it was like she'd been wanting to go golfing with me. And then I invite her finally. And then she says, only if you buy me dinner after. So that's a subtle undertone of her basically saying, if you want to see me, you better pay to see me. Like that's the subtle message that I received from that. And then that even makes me more stubborn, not want to see her. Cause I'm like, what a stupid thing. What a stupid thing for her to say. So that was more just like, no, never mind. I'm just going to go golfing. We'll hang out another time because I find that really disrespectful if a girl expects for me to pay for everything. Again, I don't have a problem treating a girl, but I want it to be a treat or even a surprise. If we're going home from golfing and going, hey, let's grab some food. What do you want? Or, hey, I'm going to grab some, so-and-so restaurant. What would you like? Like, I don't mind doing that when it's my idea. But when a girl expects it from me, I never like that. Because then it's like, I'm sitting here going, what? You don't want to hang out with me unless I pay for something? That makes me double not want to see you ever again because of that expectation. And so I think a lot of guys get into that mode early on these days with women because women have that inflated ego of they're expecting simps and all that to buy things for them. But just that subtle phrasing makes all the difference. So if you go along with even that subtle phrasing, even though she sent it and she sent like the wink face and it was kind of like the cute little thing, and most guys would be like, oh yeah, of course, I'll take you out. So that subtle phrasing completely turned me off and made me stubborn. Like I don't want to see her now because of that little expectation she had.
Yeah, let me tell you guys something right now. A high quality feminine woman would never pull that shit ever. No high quality feminine woman I've ever been with had said, oh, only if we, whatever the phrase is after, right? Where you have to spend money or jump through her hoops.
Only if you buy me dinner after. The way she said it was so dumb.
Yeah. So she's probably done that with many men in the past, many beta men who fell for it. All you had to say, this is what I would have said. I would have been like, no, with the period at the end. And now you have separated yourself from all those other beta men that complied. Because we all know compliance in a man lowers attraction. We all know you don't jump through a woman's hoops, especially if she's making ultimatums or demands. You could have also responded with, are you always this demanding? With a question mark. Right?
Yeah.
Then test her, put it back on her. Are you always this demanding? Okay. But no high quality feminine woman has ever pulled shit like that. It's always the ones that are trying to either test you or manipulate you or have manipulated men of the past. So I think she was trying to see what kind of a man you were. But to me, that's unattractive because I know if you really liked the girl after you went golfing with her or whatever activity you did, you wouldn't mind asking her, hey, are you hungry? Let's grab something to eat, right? My treat.
And I was hungry because I was busy all day and I went straight to golf. So I was going to grab food anyway. And then I would have, if I'm going to grab food, I would have grabbed some food for her in that scenario. But literally the fact that she said it and made that demand and that expectation completely turned me off to like, no, I'm not going to do something you tell me to do and expect me to do. That's gross to me.
And this is what I mean, guys. You got to put a price on your respect. What is that price? Is your price doing anything to get the vagina? Or do you have respect for yourself? Because I would have been totally, my attraction switch would have been turned off for this girl if she said that to me. I don't care how beautiful she was, how big her ass is. I would have been totally unattracted to her. It would have been a major turnoff for me. I wouldn't even want to see her at that point. I would ask another girl to come with me. So you guys have to figure out, right? What's the price on your respect? Okay, so the next one. When she begins constantly arguing with you, she's going against everything you say and do, fellas. She's being pugnacious towards you, which means warlike. Everything has to be a war with her. If she knows she can get away with acting disagreeable or warlike with you, this is when the behavior begins to get worse. The whole Jada Pinkett effect once again. You have to put them in their place. So what I usually say, right, if she's being disagreeable with me in a hostile way, she's not saying, hey, babe, listen, I disagree with you, but I respect your opinion. No, she's disagreeing with me in a hostile way, fellas. Her tone is out of line. She's saying things like, oh, that's so stupid, or oh, that's so dumb. Listen, I'll tell them right then and there. If you don't want to hear my opinion, don't ask me for my opinion next time. I put them in their place right then and there. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, don't ask me for my fucking opinion. That's it. You have to check them on that. Because if you don't, guess what? It's going to get worse. Okay? If you let them constantly argue with you, going against everything you say and do, she's being combative with you. Now what's going to happen next is she's going to start calling out your name. Remember, behavior either gets better or it gets worse. So now she's going to start calling out your name and calling you stupid, dumb. She's going to call you a bitch, a coward. If you don't check her on this, this is very important, fellas.
Yeah, I have one here too. And it kind of goes back to, again, I don't like to be told what to do by anyone, man or woman, but especially a woman. I don't like to be told what to do. And
I agree. 100%.
There's this girl, and there's little ways that it might come up, like Zara's mentioned before, about like if she says, hey, hold my purse, something like that, and she's telling you to do something, she's giving you a direct order, and it's like, don't tell me what to do. I don't like that. But there was a girl that I took golfing with me, and it was like a subtle thing, but it totally changed the tone of, we were having a good time, like 7 holes of golf, and she wanted this. She's probably listening to this podcast because she's wondering why she was going to go golfing with me and come home with me after. And I totally changed my tune and sent her home after golf because and I know this is small, but I don't ever want things to get bigger and bigger. And she said, I was about to tee off and there was this eagle feather someone had stuck in the ground by the tee box on the golf course. And she loves feathers. She has a thing for feathers. She does. And as I was about to tee off, she looked at me and she goes, go get me that eagle feather. Even though she tried like smiling at me and saying it, again, she should know me better. Stupid move. Because when she said that to me, go get me that eagle feather. If it was just like, hey, I really like that eagle feather. Could you grab that after you tee off? That is a different tone to me. But she said, go get me that eagle feather, because I was already going to go out there and tee off. And I looked at her and seriously, I could feel the entire energy in my body shift, because I can't help that I'm stubborn, but well, maybe I can, but I didn't want to anyway. I just looked at her and I just shook my head and I go, I don't like when people tell me what to do. And she's like, can't you give me that eagle feather? And she goes, please. And I just looked at her and I go get it yourself. You should have asked nicely. Mm-hmm. Because that first demand came of trying to tell me what to do. And I know these things sound small, guys, but this is an experience with women over time. Like Czar said, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And I wasn't only checking her on that because like, well, I don't want her to do that again in the future. I do not like to be told what to do, especially from a woman. And so when she said that, my entire night shifted. In my mind after that, I started spending most of my time with my buddy who was in the other cart and basically kind of ignoring her because I just got turned off in that moment. But that's the type of thing that I will not handle, that type of disrespect. Just like the buddy I was golfing with, he knows it's very subtle, just a different way he can say it. If he says, oh, could you grab me that, versus when he demands me to do something, go get me that. And I'm like looking at him like, dude, I'm not your slave. That's the type of energy, though, that if you start to, it's just those subtle shifts. And it's like, and I even said it, I just say, hey, you should have asked nicely the first time. Because now I'm absolutely not going to do it. I want to do the opposite, really. I want to do the opposite of what you tell me to do now because I don't like those type of demands. So those are small ones. Some of you listening might go, well, that's not a big deal. And sure, maybe it's not to you, but I'm not going to be put in that frame where the girl is thinking that she can demand things of me and tell me what to do. That's never how I will roll ever. And so those little subtle things will get worse if you don't check them in the beginning. And maybe if you're on a first date with a girl, now this girl I had known previously, so it was even more disrespectful because she knows me. She knows that is not something she should ever tell me to do. I think maybe she went on some dates with some other guys and could get away with stuff, and she forgot how she's supposed to, handle herself when she's with me. But those are those little things where it's all about the subtle phrasing. So if a girl tries to demand something to you on a first date and you don't want to get all like ruin the entire mood, you can just say, maybe I would have, but you should have asked nicely. And you can say it in a more relaxed tone. But again, this girl knew me by this point that I was just like, that's in my head. I was like, what a stupid thing for her to say. Dumb. Now I didn't want to hang out with her tonight. Those little things, you give them an inch, she'll take a mile.
See, and to the average person, because I've made videos about this, texting Prince, compliance test. Don't hold a woman's purse. Don't hold her cup. And there are several others, right? Because compliance in a man decreases attraction. Even though it was something that small that had to do with the feather, I would have said, do I look like I take orders? My friend Tim is actually good with doing shit like that. Right? So turn it on them. I tell a girl flat out, oh, can you hold my purse for me? No. Go put it over there. Go put it on the hood of your car. I don't hold female shit. Or I don't take orders from people. Do I look like the type that takes orders? Because it sounds like the guys that hate on these types of videos and what we're saying. Oh, what do you? It's not a big deal. I always hold my girl's shoes, or I always hold her purse. It's like, yeah, you know why? Because you are a bitch. That's why. And once again, it's going to get worse and worse. Now she's going to ask for more demands from you. You think the alpha men back in the day, you think they were taking orders from women? Or do you think the beta men were taking orders, the berry pickers? Go pick those berries for me. Oh, okay, babe. Okay, your highness. No, the alphas weren't lackeys. They weren't anyone's slaves. We'd laugh at girls like that. They'd go like, go get it your damn self. But that's why they're so sought after. Women are like, damn, I can't tame him. I can't control him. And the second they do, fellas, they lose attraction for you. Understand this. If you could take anything away from what we teach you guys, compliance in a woman raises attraction. We all know that we all love a compliant woman. Compliance in a man decreases attraction. It lowers attraction. It's the opposite. They know if they can tame you, if they can control you, oh, this guy's weak. He's a beta sucker. Like, he'll do anything I ask him for, even like being demanding. What's next? Is he going to kiss my feet if I ask him to? Is he going to give me money when I demand it? Is he going to give me the credit card when I ask for it? So it builds, fellas. But if they know you're not that guy, they won't try that ever again on you. When I tell those girls, no, I'm not holding your purse. I don't hold female shit. They never ask me again, ever. Or to take a picture of them. Oh, do you mind taking a photo? Like they're a model now and you're their photographer. No, I don't take pictures of girls. You can take one of me if you want. Guys, like, this is what pisses me off, right? And I'm sure you get these comments as well. I get comments like this all the time. Oh, what are you told? Like, oh, you can't take a picture of a girl, or you can't hold her purse like a gentleman. No, that has nothing to do with being. I'm still a gentleman. I'm just not complying to her demands. I'm not being emasculated as an alpha man. That's what it comes down to. And women do this subconsciously, fellas. They don't do this consciously. They do this subconsciously. They want to test your resolve. What kind of a man are you? How easy is it for me to tell you to do something in order for you to please me? Are you going to do anything to please me? That's what they're testing for. So you played that well, Prince.
Yeah, and I think it even goes not only with the intersexual dynamics of man and woman, her losing respect for you, but another thing is like women don't want a compliant man, period, because if you're complying to her, you're complying to other people around you, other people in the workforce. And again, the guys that are compliant aren't going to move up as high in life because they're always submitting to other people. Other people are above them. So these little subtle things, yeah, subconsciously she loses some respect for you, and then she'll keep, going after it in your one-on-one dynamics. But it also sends that subliminal message that like, this guy's weak. That means that he won't ever amount to his full potential because he's always going to be tiptoeing around everybody. If he's willing to comply to me, just, a girl that he's dating, he's going to have a hard time standing up for himself in the real world, in the corporate world, in the job world, just in life. And that's a weak trait that women aren't going to look up to in a man.
Yeah. So imagine this, right? You're a CEO of a company, and one of your female assistants tells you to grab her that piece of paper out of the printer. Would you do it as the CEO of the company? Or would you look at her and say, get it your own damn self? Right? They have to respect you at all times, fellas. I've seen guys, random guys, at the bar hand drinks to customers when the bartender tells them to. Oh, can you just hand that guy this drink? And they do it. I've seen like CEOs hand papers to women when they're demanding, right? I'm like, bro, you're a fucking CEO of a company. Like, why are you complying to their demands? You have to show that people respect you at all times. You can't comply to people's demands. So it's very important, fellas. It has nothing to do with holding her purse, how much of a gentleman you are, holding her shoes if her feet are tired. I don't give a fuck. Wear better attire next time. That ain't my issue. You carry your own shoes, right? I need my hands to fight in case anything happens. I'm not holding anything in my hands that's going to make me look weak, especially female shoes, a female purse. When your hands always have to be open in case you have to fight someone, you have to be battle ready. So that's very important, fellas. This one is a little tricky. I'm going to explain it the best I can. Ignore the bait. What does that mean? So your woman is going to tempt you to take the bait. She'll say something designed to get a certain emotional response from you, and it's going to come when you least expect it, fellas. You never take the bait. So she might bring up something that is completely different from what you're talking about, but she knows it's sensitive to you. She knows it's going to get you emotional. Okay? If you respond with, what exactly is that supposed to mean? In an annoyed or hurt tone of voice, you can stamp fail on your forehead in capital letters and call it quits right then and there. You lost. The best thing you can do is ignore the bait. If she's trying to bait you into an argument, ignore it. This is when a woman is purposely looking for a fight to bait you into a discussion that you never had any intentions of even getting into. The moment she says something that makes your heart skip a beat, you know you're being baited into a war you will not win. Women do this with men they're in relationships with. It has nothing to do with any part of the discussion, but they're trying to bait you in to get an emotional response from you. Fucking ignore it, fellas.
Yeah, and some of these, like we've always said, some of the testing is conscious, some is subconscious. But when you're around a lot of women, like when I spend, again, when I was teaching, I spent so much time with women because that's all that was in my elementary school, all women. I spent a lot of time with women at parties and all that because I can talk freely with them. I can put them in their place, and they can actually have girl talk with me because they can kind of respect my opinion in that way. But girls will, and I know that we all want to, dream up that there's some sweet, pure, innocent angels, but girls will game plan this stuff. Just like when you're texting a girl, you're texting an army of women. You're texting her and all the girls that she has in her group chat, all the girls that she's out on her wine night with. She's showing those texts. She's talking about it. She's telling her girlfriends about when you revealed to her that little subtle weakness that you didn't want anyone else to know. She's sharing all that information with other women. Again, if you haven't spent time in female dominated areas where you're spending a lot of time with them, you might not see this or believe this, but women talk about everything with other women. So that's why like some of these tests will actually be conscious. Hey, I'm going to get him to do this. Watch what I can do. And then it becomes a dick measuring contest between these women of, well, I bet you I can get my guy to do something more simpy in a sense, right? They might not use that terminology or language, but they almost get off on, oh, well, in a bragging right, like strong, empowered woman, well, guess what I can get guys to do for me? So these little things, yeah, sometimes they're subconscious, but many times they have these conscious things where they're going, what can I get away with so I can brag to my friends about what I got away with? And then they can kind of build their own ego up in their social circles with women about the dancing monkey that they're getting to do all these things for, and they're laughing behind your back at the things that they're making you do. So some guys will wear it. Some guys will, I mean, guys that listen to this podcast will probably be like, well, no, I do it because I'm a gentleman. I do that because I respect women. It's like, you got to understand, women aren't playing by that same honor code that a lot of guys a lot of guys live by. So these things that we're talking about, yeah, you might justify it in your own mind going, well, I'm a gentleman. I'm not like those other guys and all that. But that girl is looking at you as a dancing monkey then. And that's a horrible place to be.
Yep. And you see videos of girlfriends doing this with their man constantly on TikTok, on social media. They'll have their boyfriend kissing their feet or rubbing their feet, and then they'll have some inspirational, loving quote, I'll get you a man that takes care of you like this. So what women do, right, because they're all gossipers, they're very sneaky with this. When they do that, they're simultaneously bragging to other women about how much of a simp their man is. Look what I can get my man to do, whilst simultaneously defaming him in public at the same time. Women are very sneaky like this. So they'll brag to other women, showing to the entire world, look at the simp I have and the things he does for me, and also make fun of him at the same time. You never want to be that guy, fellas. The betas, they get praised in public. Beta males get praised in public, but they get crucified in private. The alphas get crucified in public, but they get praised in private. Choose which side you guys want to be on. I'd rather be the guy that gets praised in private. I don't care. People can defame me in public, whatever they want to talk shit about me, my videos, everything I talk about, or the texting prints. Makes no difference to me, because I know at the end of the day, they respect me in private. And that's all that fucking matters, is that I'm sleeping with this girl.
Yeah,
that's
and
that fucking matters, fellas.
I got one more here that just kind of came to the top of my head as we were chatting, and I'll see this all. So women trying to change your wardrobe or change your outfit. And I know a lot of guys, especially married guys. Here's a good one. Look at engagement photos. So many times I look at an engagement photo of a guy and a girl, and I look at the photo of the guy that I've known for a while, and I go, there is 0% chance that he picked that outfit out for himself. He's dressed up all completely different than he normally would when he's, every time I've known him. But she starts to change your outfits, change your wardrobes for you. And you are now a Ken doll to her that she's playing dress up with, like she did when she was 3, 4, 5 years old. And she loves to recreate her man in a different way. Oh, get rid of that shirt. I'm going to get you new shirts. And she starts to change your wardrobe. So if a girl tries to change my outfits, I double down. If a girl says, like my Hawaiian shirt I've talked about before, it's an ugly Hawaiian dolphin shirt. If a girl says something like, oh, I can't believe you wore that. Now in my mind, I'm going to wear that more often when I see this girl. Or if a girl doesn't like my baseball jerseys or football jerseys, I wear those out to the bars. I wear them everywhere. That's just my natural attire that I like to wear. If a girl says something like, oh, you're not going to wear that out, are you? You should change into blah, blah, blah. I really like this on you. In my mind, I now get stubborn and I go, oh, I'm 1,000,000% wearing this out. I'm absolutely going to wear this football jersey out now because she tried to change my attire. And so a lot of married guys get into this cycle. And I understand some guys are like, no, this is great. I didn't have the best style. Now I don't have to worry about it. She just picks out all my clothes and I just go, okay, what's in the closet for me to wear now? But those are those subtle things of her changing you, creating a frame, changing it. Now, if you want to be a better dresser, you can take feedback in, but change it on your own terms. I personally am not going to change my football jersey, baseball jersey, so I don't care what a girl says to me. But I know a lot of guys that literally just submit their entire wardrobe to their girl because they're like, well, I only care. I'm only trying to look good for her. So when she dresses me up and she likes it, I'm happy too. I don't have to think about the outfit. But again, the underlying message you're sending to her is submission. You're submitting to her on that aspect. So again, if you want to be a better dresser, you can take feedback in, but change it on your own terms. Don't just all of a sudden go, oh, you don't like this shirt, I'll go change it real quick. And then now you're dressing up for her how she likes, because that's the start of her putting her claws in you and going, ooh, this is my little puppet. I'm going to start changing his wardrobe, and then I'm going to change his friends. Then I'm going to change, oh, I don't want him spending as much time with his family. Then I'm going to change, oh, I don't like him spending that much time on his hobbies. So the more you acquiesce, comply, like Zara was mentioning, she gets the inch, she's going to take a mile.
Yeah. Does that sound very masculine to you, fellas, having your woman pick your wardrobe how she wants you to look? Does that sound masculine at all? Now, I don't want you guys looking like a complete bum who isn't grooming himself, obviously. But remember this, when in doubt, if she wants a certain appearance about you to go with the flow. Double down on it. So say if she says, oh, I like you better without the beard. Oh, you don't like my beard? I'm going to make sure I keep growing it out for you. Oh, you don't like this shirt? I'm going to make sure I wear this for you every single time we go out now. It's going to be your new favorite shirt. Go with the flow. Double down, fellas. Never change your appearance for another girl as long as you don't look like a fucking bum. We get it. But if you're confident with yourself, you're working out, your wardrobe isn't even that bad, doesn't have to be expensive. I wear these black fitted express shirts everywhere I go. I don't care if she doesn't like it. I don't give a fuck. Guess what? I'm going to double down and buy even more. So she better get used to it. But you never want to seek a woman's approval. If you start seeking her approval, and I've seen many people close to me fall because of this, where the girl changes their wardrobe. Now they have all plaid shirts, button-up shirts. They're giving their clothes to me that there was nothing wrong with it. I was like, sure, I'll take it. Expensive clothes, right? I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. But, well, why are you letting your woman change you like you're a fucking doll now? The second you let a woman treat you like she's your mother, she will treat you like you're her man-child. And no mother wants to sleep with her child, fellas. So that was a very great point.
Yeah, and I will do a little subtle mix on this because, again, like most guys aren't as up to date on style. I have no problem admitting that. I'm not like this most stylish guy in the world for sure. But if it's a girl that tells me, if it's a girl that I'm seeing or something like that, there's a difference between maybe you have a family friend that is like another mother to you. You can get her opinion. Hey, you want to, what are some clothes that maybe I should go get, because you're not in that sexual interaction with her. Or if you have a gay friend, a guy that's a gay friend that's really into style, take him out with you when you're going to shop for new clothes and get his opinion. But when it's a girl that you're seeing or you have some romantic interest in, that's when that complying becomes an issue. When I was in the middle of teaching, I had a friend of mine. It was just a girl that was around my age, but we were just friends. We're strictly, it's work. We're not doing anything. And I didn't mind having her come out with me sometimes if I was getting, new clothes. And then she would, give me her opinion. But that's far different than the girl that you're seeing or the girl that you're really interested in and acquiescing to her wants and desires, because again, that's that subtle compliance. So if you have the style, issue or whatever, take out your buddies, a gay guy friend. That's a great one to go. Or you can get women that you're not sexually interested in to get their other opinion. But it's that subtle one-to-one compliance with women that she will lose respect with you over time when you're acquiescing to her demands in that sense.
And this is another major one that guys overlook. If she compares you to another man, could be her ex, best friend, whoever, someone she was dating. You need to check that shit ASAP, fellas. So I'll give you an example, right? My ex, so say if you're with your girl, right? You're driving with her, or you're going to a specific place, or you guys are just hanging out. Your girl says, well, my ex used to take me here, or my best guy friend drives a nicer car than you, or he has this, or my guy friend had he did this. If she's comparing you in any way, you guys need to check her on that and tell her, you know what, go fuck with him then. Point blank, fellas. Go fuck with him then. Oh, if he had a nicer car than me, if he had a BMW, go fuck. Why aren't you with him then? You don't have to be with me. Don't let that slide, fellas. You never let a woman compare you to another man. That shit is so disrespectful. Story time. So I had an ex who I got into a disagreement with. This is when I just started TikTok and posting videos about dating on social media. She didn't like the videos I was posting. So she began acting passive aggressive with me and saying how she had many men messaging her, asking her, oh no, so okay, so this is something different, right? So I'll get into that in a little bit, guys. But she sent me, we got in a disagreement when I started posting my content. She didn't like what I was talking about. She sent me a video of some other dating coach who had a man bun, who had a lot of followers. And she said underneath that video, this is what you should be talking about. This is the advice you should be giving women. Learn from this guy. Fellas, my heart nearly sank. Like my stomach felt like it was twisted when she said that. It didn't sit well with me. I replied and I told her, oh yeah, why don't you go fuck with him then? And she replied with something a little cocky and funny, right? She was trying to be cute. She said, oh, he's not my type. But after that, I blocked her. I was done with her because that wasn't the first time she tried disrespecting me. And that week, just to prove her wrong, 2 of my videos went viral because of her. I wanted to prove to her so bad, oh yeah, watch this shit. That's turn that pain into purpose, fellas. That shit motivated me. It added more fuel to the fire. Okay. Now, before this, prior to me blocking her and her saying this, so she was acting passive aggressive with me one night and saying how she had many men messaging her who wanted her, who were asking to take her out and all this other bullshit, and how she doesn't answer any of them. Like, she was basically trying to one up me, right? Trying to brag to me about how she had all these guys messaging her. And you know what? I told her, I was like, yeah, these guys are all messaging you because they want to fuck you, and that's it. They want nothing more from you. So don't ever tell me some bullshit like that ever again. I checked her on that, fellas. I'm not going to let that slide. That was highly disrespectful to me. I don't give a fuck how many men are messaging you. If men didn't want you, why the fuck am I with you? Number one. Okay. Number two, all these men want are one thing from you. I'm here because I want to be with you. So I checked her very quickly on that, but it got out of control. She was being very disagreeable, very volatile the entire time, very combative, and I couldn't deal with it, right? This is the same ex that came knocking at my door at midnight trying to cause a scene, telling me to open the door to see if there was another girl inside. And yeah, there was another girl inside, but the fact that she showed up unannounced, I'm not going to fucking have her come inside and cause an entire scene so cops can come and neighbors can wake up. Get the fuck out of here. But this is the shit I'm talking about, fellas. If you don't check them on that disrespectful behavior, it builds and builds. She wants to see what else she can get away with. So there you have it. Okay. Don't ever let a girl compare you to another man.
Yeah, and I think it's also important for guys to understand too, because I do get a ton of guys that will, they want to get their ex back, or they want to get back with, their ex-girlfriend, because in their mind they had good memories with her and maybe she treated him better than other women have ever treated that guy. But when you get better at learning this stuff, the interactions you have with women from the start become better than the best interactions you had with the girl in the past that was disrespecting you, or that you were doing a lot of these maybe mistakes that we're talking about, and maybe she overlooked them a little bit, but she had these subtle undertones of disrespect to you. So a lot of guys come in and they get kind of almost scared. There's too much to learn. There's too many things I have to, it's way easier. I'm comfortable with my ex. How can I get her back? But again, starting fresh is always the best bet, because you don't have to battle all the judgment she had from you in the past from these little mistakes. So I just want that little message to reach those guys that are going, man, there's a lot to learn. But it's like so many guys that I have coached thought, oh, it would never get better. And then all of a sudden they're like, man, I can't believe I was so hung up on my ex. These new girls I'm meeting treat me with way more affection than I've ever had in my past relationship. They look at me in a completely different way. And that's because, again, you teach people how to treat you based on introduction to every interaction you have with her in the future. So the more you learn this stuff, even if you're not getting a lot of looks from women, you're not getting a lot of matches on dating apps and all that, it's like the more you learn this stuff, the better interactions you have with future women, because they don't have your old self to compare you to, where she looked at you as a simp or a subtle simp or things that she get away with. And so it gets better and better. I know that we say that a lot, but I think it's important, because I have like a buddy in real life here that is going through a divorce, a separation, and he was so ready to cling to it. And everyone around him was just like, dude, you can do so much better. This guy's a good looking dude. He's just he's a really cool guy. And he was being treated so poorly by his ex-wife now. I mean, I think they're officially separated, but not divorced. And it took him to finally go out on some dates. And he was like, whoa, I can't believe this girl I just met 2 weeks ago looks at me like my wife never did. The girl he was with for however many years. Like, he's like, I've never been treated this well. I'm like, exactly. Like, it's all about how you interact with a woman one-to-one. These little subtle things we say when she puts a demand on you, buy me dinner after golf, and you say no, or you ignore her, stuff like that. It's like, then you don't get that same behavior versus the ex that you had that you're trying to bring back up. She has all this stuff that she still thinks she can get away with you, rather than starting with a clean slate. You're a brand new man. Even though in your mind you might go, well, I'm not that different. It's like, the more you learn interactions with women, again, you're teaching her every step of the way how to treat you in the future.
So I have these are going to go hand in hand together. Okay. I see this a lot on social media, especially Facebook. She airs out your dirty laundry or relationship issues on social media, fellas. This is so disrespectful, because women know what they're doing. They know the vultures are out there. So when they talk about your relationship out on social media, right? Oh, happily single now, or they're posting some bullshit breakup lyrics or relationship lyrics, right? Taylor Swift or Beyonce, whatever. Now she's inviting attention from other men. She's basically telling men, hey, listen, I'm single, message me. That is very disrespectful, fellas. You never let a girl air out your dirty laundry. You have to check her on that, or you have to set your boundaries before you get in a relationship. This has to be one of them. We don't air out our dirty laundry, right? Because what happens next, if you don't check her on this, she starts posting provocative pictures on social media. So if your girl posts provocative photos on social media, and she's never done this before, you can bet your life that relationship is over. It's done. There's no way you can salvage it. Once they start posting provocative pictures, they're basically putting the for sale sign back up on the market. This happened to me, fellas. She never posted provocative pictures before. We were going through our own disagreements. I didn't see the breakup happening, but right after she posted several bikini shots of her at the beach, she's never done this before. She was very conservative. 2 weeks later, she broke up with me. The relationship was done. The for sale sign is back up on the market. She is inviting attention from other men. She's letting them know, hey, listen, I'm single now. You guys can message me. That's what's going on. There's no way you can save it, fellas. It's too late at that point. It's too fucking late. So you have to be on the lookout for that. Okay. But the ultimate reason of why Me and this girl broke up that I always talk about. You guys know her. I talk about her in my attraction course and my relationship course. Learn from me. This is one of my new boundaries ever since this happened to me with this girl. I set this boundary before I get in a relationship with the girl now. This is how important this is. If she gossips to her friends, family, and peers about you and the relationship, listen, the people that she's gossiping about you and the relationship to, they're going to start planting seeds in her head to prepare her exit and to leave you. They're all going to tell her how bad of a man you are. Oh, just leave him. Go cheat on him, girl. You don't deserve him. Like, her friends and family will never forget what she said about you. So now you're the enemy in their eyes. But you and your girl, you guys can always forgive and forget one another and love each other the next day. You have to set this boundary, fellas. You have to let your girl know before you get in a relationship, hey, listen, right? This is one of my boundaries. We invite no other parties into the business of our relationship. If we have a problem with one another or a disagreement, something you don't agree on, we talk it out with each other only like adults, and we work it out. You don't tell your parents, you don't tell your friends, you don't tell your coworkers, because they're not going to be on my side and they're going to plant seeds in your head. Now, what happens is every time you show up to a family event or to hang out with their friends, you feel that awkward tension, fellas. Why is that? Because she's been talking shit about you. That's why. You can cut that tension with a knife. You know it's there, but you can't figure out why. That's because she's been defaming you and talking shit about you behind your back. And this is why my relationship ended, because she was very naive. She was young. I didn't set this boundary beforehand. So they started planting seeds in her head to leave me. And guess what? After she posted those provocative pictures on social media, she left me 2 weeks later. It was a wrap. This is very important. Set this boundary. Do not fucking forget that, fellas. A lot of guys forget this one boundary. It can save your relationship.
Yeah, and even a subtle sign, if a girl on Facebook says something on like a post like relationships are hard, ... and she was in a relationship, I immediately, my game meter goes off and I'm like, oh, this girl is ready to move on. I already know that. So that's like, even if she's still in a relationship, that's a big subtle cue that she's putting the fishing hooks out there ready to monkey branch to a new option, because a lot of girls don't like to leave their option they have until they get more coming in, more flooded in. Even another one, if she had a picture of you and her together in her profile picture, all of a sudden she updates her profile picture and it's just her, even if it's not a provocative photo. Again, my game meter goes, okay, this girl is pretty much ready to probably leave this guy. Like, those are those subtle signs that happen. It's like, you got to be prepared for that, because at that point, it's ready for you to also start looking elsewhere, because or else she's going to have a new guy lined up and it's going to hit you and you're going to, I don't even know what happened. It's these subtle things that women do that tell the story to guys with game. Guys with game can see through that and go, oh, they're in trouble now. And then they're licking their lips going, I'm going to DM her now.
Yeah,
like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Right. And you already know she's like going to respond and be like, oh, well, things aren't going so well right now with my ex. And those guys already know. So guys that have any sort of game, when girls send that out, even if you might not realize what's going on, guys with game are understanding that and they're licking their lips going, now's my chance to move in. Or they had a couple pictures together of her and her boyfriend. All of a sudden, updates a profile picture. It's just her smiling in front of flowers. Doesn't have to be a bikini pic. Guys with game go, oh, something's going wrong in this relationship. Ooh, here's my chance. They DM her, and now she's getting this influx of new options so that she can secure a date or a fun, cool guy. And then all of a sudden, we're just growing apart and she's breaking up with you. And it's way worse if you're on that end and you didn't even see it coming. And now you're like, oh no. And then you're trying to fight and claw for get back. It's like, if you see those signs, you may as well just go, okay, this relationship's pretty much over, and prepare yourself.
Now that's why this podcast was so important, right? I think I have one or two more after, but the levels of disrespect, they get worse and worse. So you didn't check her on anything we mentioned, guys, right? Now it's to the point where she's changing the profile pic. She's airing out your dirty laundry on social media. She's posting provocative pictures. Now she's starting to entertain other men. She's starting to entertain their messages and she's starting to reply. That's when the cheating happens, fellas, if it didn't happen before. This is when they think about cheating on you, when they start monkey branching. So, another big one is when a girl has dismissive behavior. She turns her back on you when you're talking to her and she walks away from you, or she hangs up mid conversation and she blocks you. If a girl blocks you, fellas, you better not call her back. You better not grab another phone, start calling her. No, that girl is not going to hear from you for a long fucking time. She has to know that. We're not going to keep calling her and trying to reach out. Why did you block me? No, I don't give a fuck. You know what? You want to block me? Go ahead. Now it's going to be much harder for you to come back into my life. You're going to have to do all the pursuing, all the chasing. And at this point, Texting Prince, what I have them do is write me an apology letter. It better be 3 pages of what you did, how you'll never do it again, and how you feel about me. Because we all know women don't like to take accountability. So this is very powerful. The power of the tongue. The fact that she takes the time to write the letter, apologize, learn from her mistakes, say that she's never going to do this again. Sometimes I'll even have them pay money. I'll even have them pay money if they want to come back in my life. Take me out to an expensive dinner. They have to. It's reward and punishment. B.F. Skinner, operant conditioning. This is human nature, fellas. But what happens if a guy does that to a girl, right? He disrespects her, or in order for him to come back, what is she going to have him do? He's going to have to drop a lot of money on her, buy her gifts, do this, do that. Why can't you do that? Why can't you have a girl do that for you? Why is there a double standard, right? I'm going to have her chip in, give me some money now. She's going to have to wash my clothes, clean my car. She's not just coming back into my life. I think blocking a man is so fucking disrespectful. Nothing irritates me more than when a girl displays dismissive behavior. She walks away from you mid-conversation, or she hangs up and blocks you, fellas. I'm not the guy that's going to chase her or run after her anymore. I'm done with that. So you have to check her on that immediately.
Yeah. I'm done with my list. Do you have another one, or are you?
Let's see. No, I think got everything out. I think everything's done, all the important ones, so we can close this out. And Texting Prince, you can tell them who we're going to have on next podcast. So we're very excited as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, well, I don't know exactly I don't know her at all. You just said you have that set up, so you can introduce that. I'll just say this in case, because we know scheduling doesn't always work out perfectly. If this doesn't happen, we'll have something else ready for you. But Czar, you want to tell them what we have planned for, if not the next episode, a future episode?
Yeah, so we have our first feminine guest who's going to be on the podcast discussing game. She is a master at psychology. She's a beautiful blonde bombshell all the way from Canada. We're happy to have her. You guys are going to learn so much game from her. These are the women we want to have on our show. She's going to talk about her past experiences with men, her marriage, what happened. So hopefully we can have a conversation and discuss game like adults. So you guys can learn from it. Maybe me and Texan Prince can also learn from a female's perspective. So we're very excited for that.
Yeah, it would be good to have a different point of view, and just it's also a good lesson in how you can learn a lot from women that you don't always have to sleep. You don't always have to have that goal of trying to sleep with a woman. I know some guys say, men and women can't be friends. I disagree. The problem is when you're the friend and you want more than she does. If you just go into scenarios where you're like, man, I just I really love talking to women because they are interesting to me. I have really fun conversations with women, more so than, I can talk with my guy friends about a lot of things, but women are open to talking about basically everything. So the better you get at just interacting with women and not having that goggle on of, oh, I got to sleep with her, I got to like her. It's like, when you take that pressure off, you can have fun and learn a lot and just kind of, nudge and pull and get, the truth out. Like if this girl says something, I might be like, wait, hold on a second. And I might ask her a clarifying question to try to dissect basically game from her point of view or whatnot. but you can learn a lot from women, and especially if you don't have your mindset always of like, I got to sleep with her. Because if you can get women on your side, women allies, you can learn a lot from them. Also, you now have a social group you can go out with. And it's so powerful when you can go out with a group of women and you're just the guy that's around women. And all of a sudden, all women in that bar feel comfortable talking to you because they're like, oh, this guy came with a bunch of women. He, he's sociable. This would be fun. Like that will build your social status up. So if guys tell you you can't ever have friends with women, I disagree. It's a good move to have them on there. Not that you're sitting there simping for all these women, but just going out, being seen with other women and learning from women's point of view. Like we said, learning how women really talk about things is very eye-opening and can be a great learning experience for you guys out there. So we're thinking we will have that potentially next episode, but if not, we'll have something here ready for you guys next week as well. And Czar, you want to tell them where they can find you at?
Yeah, so follow me, Czar of Dating on Instagram, Facebook as well. You guys can find me on there and TikTok. My website is czardating.com, CZAR dating.com. You can get amazing courses, and Texting Prince also has his own website as well. He's going to mention that right now for you guys.
Yep, I'm on Instagram at Texting Prince, and then my website's www.textingprince.com. My VIP membership is currently closed right now, but I have a monthly special for the end of October for my very in-depth, complete texting course called Texting School. So you can go to my website, you'll see like monthly special, something like that, and you can get a lifetime worth of texting knowledge to really nail it down so that when you have that cell phone, you know exactly what to do, what not to do, how to respond. I break down all sorts of my own conversations with women where I explain the concepts. I show you my text. I show you her responses so you can actually see how it plays out in real life. In these things that I talk about, I'm not texting her more often. I'm not texting her quicker than me. A lot of guys don't believe that because most guys are in that chase pursue mode, but I'll break down the principles and show you, here's the conversations. Here's how she reacts. Because again, based on every woman, she'll treat you differently. The girls that text me 3 or 4 times in my one text, those girls show me their phone where they're having guys that are texting her 10, 12 times and she's barely responding to them. So it all depends about that one-on-one interaction with a woman about what she can get away with. And so you can be that guy that learns to play it the right way, and you'll get responses that you never dreamed of or thought of before. Like even my buddies that know that I've done this for a while, they're always like, Adam, can you show me your phone? And they just love to see my conversations. And they're always surprised. Like, I can't believe you didn't respond when she said that. I can't believe that she's sitting here doing this and this and that for you. But that's the power of, if you learn it, confidence is competence. When you get better, when you get confident in something, then you have confidence that it works, and then you can actually put it into practice. And then when you put it into practice, it comes off as pure confidence to women that you're interacting with.
Yes, and I wanted to say thank you, everyone, for subscribing to the Spotify channel, the YouTube as well. I'll repost these videos so you can see it live, but if you get the Texting Prince, all of his courses and my courses, you listen to our podcast, you put on the full armor of game, you will become a master with women. It takes time, but you have to be hungry for this knowledge. You really want to want it, fellas. You really want to want it. That's the best way I can put it, okay? We want you to get beautiful women because me and Texting Prince, we can only handle so many. We want to share the wealth. We want you guys to also get beautiful women. Take our advice and you will start winning. You will start winning with women and waking up next to a beautiful fucking girl on your bed. We promise you. And you will also have loving relationships and learn how to keep a woman. That's why this podcast was very important. If you want to keep a girl, you need to learn how to check her when she disrespects you. This is very important.
And a subtle thing that comes from this too is, you want to be that cool authority figure in your group. You want to have that thing that, guys can look up to you for. I mean, it's pretty cool when you're walking around. It's like if you start to see the mistakes guys are making and guys start to see you as better with women, your friend groups, your buddies will come to you and ask you for advice. And then you get a sense of respect, and that will also build your inner confidence as well. So I always try to teach guys something that's like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to do this, but you're also going to be the guru in your group now that you can help your buddies out. You can steer them in the right direction. And now you get, like, I have my buddies all the time. They're like, hey man, can I just buy you a beer? I want to pick your brain about a few things. And they'll take me out, buy me beer, buy me dinner or something just to learn and stuff like that. And I'm happy to help them. But that's another cool, like, subtle confidence boost that you can get in your own friends group too, to get guys to also show you a little more respect in your personal life.
100%. 100%, fellas.
All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you guys.